welcome to episode 8 of the Great Ace Attorney Adventures. Last time, we basically learned about how teen cross-examinations work, where you have multiple witnesses on the stand. If one witness says something that the other doesn't agree with or has comments on, we can swap over to them, and we can get some additional comments, which we did with Hosanuge, brain fart in the name. With Hosanaga, we learned that basically he claimed this bottle from the crime scene, and we now have the bottle, and we are now going to use this bottle to confirm that poisoning occurred. Actually, there's one method of killing a man without leaving a trace that comes to mind. Obviously, I'm referring to poison.
Poison!
Sorry, just had to adjust something. On the day of his death, we know that Dr. Wilson drank from the bottle of carbonated water. Could it be that there was a poison inside? Could it be that the professor actually died after taking a sip from his glass? Order! And on that day, who was sitting at that same table as the professor and was able to slip the poison into his drink? There's only one person who could have possibly done it. Jezaille Brett, it was you!
Objection! This is outrageous to suggest such a thing without even a scrap of evidence! You little rookie imbecile! Have you even considered the delicate situation our country finds itself in now? Have you forgotten that we have only just signed an accord of friendship with the British Empire? Have you even the vaguest inkling that your rash accusations could jeopardize this entire treaty? My street will be non-existent!
Objection!
They'll dedicate to Palmerston! Or Kip the Elder!
Now I'm imagining that Simpsons bit. Lord Palmerston! This is not a political arena. This is a trial to determine one individual's guilt with respect to one crime.
What?
The fact that this woman is British makes no difference. We are here to determine the truth.
If I may, I will silence you for this disgraceful attack on those of the young. It is you who should be silent. Of course! Yes, my queen! Dear queen!
Where did that come from? She just snapped.
I'm afraid I may have spoken unfairly before. I offer my most humble apologies.
I'm sorry, my lady. To what are you referring?
I described your police force as inferior, but no matter how inferior they may be, you still investigate this particular point thoroughly, I believe. The bottle, I mean, Inspector, and whether it contained poison or not.
Of course. You did? Have you forgotten what my guiding principle is already? I strive for flawless investigation every time. I don't believe it. Naturally, we tested the inside of this bottle and its contents. And? What did you find, Inspector? I ordered tests for every toxin that's available in this country at the present time. We could find no trace of poison of any description in the bottle of carbonated water, Your Excellency. What? Are you sure? The tests were meticulously carried out by the chief coroner himself. No!
I'm very grateful to all you Japanese. You've successfully established my complete innocence in this horrid affair. Thank you. But of course, dear queen! The pleasure was all ours!
I was so sure. This can't be right! Everything falls into place if he was poisoned. Thank you, counsel. I think that cross-examination has clarified everything. As the prosecution has asserted, a shot to the chest from this gun is the only conceivable cause of death. Furthermore,
The accused, who by his own admission was holding this weapon, is the only possible culprit.
I'm done for.
The court wishes to apologize for the great inconvenience that this has caused you, Miss Brent.
Oh no, I'm just glad the matter's resolved.
Before proceeding, I must ask the counsel for defense. Do you have any further new evidence to present the court at this point?
Kazuma? I'm sorry, Ryunosuke. I have nothing more.
Well, if you excuse me now, I really must be leaving. Hold it! I'm hungry, I want food!
Yes, I'm sorry. We're dealing with the Maya of this time here.
Please wait!
Isn't that...
What's the meaning of this?
Forgive me for intruding on court proceedings, Your Excellency. Susato Mikotoba, Judiciary Assistant to the Defense. They will pay me with food.
Mikotoba? In my darkest hour, with nowhere left to go, she appeared like a bolt of lightning. And in her hand, she carried a small package, wrapped in a furoshiki cloth. We don't see her hands. I don't know what's in her hands. I don't see the package. What is the package? Is it a big box? Little box? Moderate-sized box? We don't know. I'm not saving the game, no. Oh, but this has just been a long first trial. Seriously, we're nearly 10 episodes in, just first trial. Help me.
Well, I understand you are the judicial assistant to the defense, but why the sudden ingress into my courtroom?
Ha! A judicial assistant and a woman, no less! The rules state that females are not permitted to this court of law other than to testify! Yes, I fully understand. I only asked for 5 minutes of time. I have some vital evidence I must hand over to the defense. Ha! You're too late, little girl! This trial's already been concluded!
5 minutes. I will not allow a moment more.
But, Your Excellency! I am most grateful.
Who exactly are you?
I'm sorry, there's no time. Please, simply accept this for now.
What is it? A report about something? Written in English?
It's Jezaille Brett's research.
The English woman's?
After the trial resumed earlier, I hurried back to the university. I went to Dr. Wilson's laboratory in the medical faculty and...
Why is it faculty? Why not facility?
And borrowed this paper.
Oh yes, that's right. Miss Brett was studying under the professor, wasn't she? So, does this research, whatever it is, have something to do with the case?
I'm afraid I don't know. I haven't been able to listen to the proceedings of the trial myself.
Oh, no, of course not. Special characteristics of Curare and its effects on human subjects. Interesting. I can imagine just Kristoff. She's my favorite author. I love her work. Kristoff travels back in time and meets Jezaille. And he's like, Miss Brett, I am a huge fan of your work. Please sign my bottle of artequinine. Curare, what's that? I've never heard of that word before.
Time's up! The prosecution demands the immediate removal of this female trespasser from the courtroom! There was too little time for me to read in detail, but I was surprised by according to the note just inside the cover. If you think it could be valuable, please cast your eyes over it.
This is wonderful, thank you. Jezaille's report.
Goodbye then, and good luck.
You have had long enough, counsel. We cannot detain our English guests any longer. I asked the prosecution and the defense one last time. Does either side have any further evidence to present to this court? I presume not, but
prosecution has made its case convincingly enough, alright. Nothing more to add, Your Excellency.
Ryunosuke, we're out of options here. This really is our very last chance. That's what you said. That's what they said about 5 last chances ago. Yes, I know. Your Excellency, the defense does have new evidence.
That look. The unyielding stare of a true Japanese warrior. Well, Miss Brett,
Yes, Your Excellency.
if you wouldn't mind, perhaps you could grace us with your presence a little longer.
It's a delightful invitation, but I'm afraid it's not very long until tea time. I have to politely decline.
Forgive me, Miss Brett, it seems I wasn't clear. I realize it was phrased as a question, however. I must ask you to treat that as an order.
I've said it many times before, but the Japanese language makes no sense.
My apologies, dear lady. So, counsel, what is this new evidence that demands the court's attention?
Miss Jezaille Brett, we understand you were studying under Dr. Wilson at Yuma University, doing research. Research, by sheer coincidence perhaps, into a deadly poison.
What?
Poison? Where are you going with this, counsel?
A toxin known as Curer, Your Excellency. Even the slightest amount of this deadly poison entering the body leads to instant death.
What? What complete utter nonsense! Curer, you say? I never even heard of it!
You wouldn't have done.
What do you mean?
I mean that you wouldn't have heard of Curer before for one very simple reason. It doesn't exist in our country.
It doesn't exist.
You whore! You made me look bad! I will end your life! Correct, which means, no matter what test the police can do for toxins, they never identify Curer. Why? Because there is no test available here that can identify the presence of this highly deadly poison.
What?
And then Chris will shake his head. Should have went with artequinine, the greatest of all poisons, the king of poisons.
Order, order, order! Counsel, does this deadly poison truly exist?
According to this report authorized by the visiting research student from England, Curer has long been used by the tribespeople of South America as a poison to lace their arrows. It seems that it's reasonably well known among European doctors and scientists.
To lace arrows?
The report states that it is produced from an extract of a tree that grows deep in the Amazonian jungle, and it was first brought back to Europe at the turn of the century by explorers. It claims that animals shot by arrows laced with Curer suffer instant death. Doesn't that about sum it up, Mr. Brett?
Objection! Trumpery! These aspirations are utter trumpery! To start with, if the victim had been administered some of the so-called deadly poison, he would have been squirming and writhing in pain, and the other times would have surely noticed.
That is true. What do you say to that, Inspector?
Obviously, I would have noticed a disturbance like that. I don't remember anything like that either. I didn't notice the professor being in any kind of pain. According to this, however, it's the other way around.
What do you mean, the other way around?
The very fact that the victim didn't show any visible signs of distress is evidence that Curer was used.
Explain yourself, counsel.
The moment the toxin enters a person's system, it causes instant paralysis. In other words, afflicted victims lose all strength and are completely unable to move. Even if they were in total agony, there would be no visible signs of pain at all. How terrible. Obviously, if a man lost all strength in his muscles, he'd collapse on the floor. But with a chair under him for support, as Dr. Wilson did, the effects could go largely unnoticed. But I don't follow, Kazuma. That's just paralysis. I thought the poison caused instant death. The full explanation is extremely unpleasant. The poison causes immediate paralysis, as I said, leaving the victim unable to move. But after a short time, the paralysis is so severe it causes the muscles that control respiration to fail. Respiration? In other words, the actual cause of death is suffocation. And all the while, the victim is conscious and aware, just unable to move.
That's hideous!
To the observer, it would look almost like the victim was slipping peacefully into an endless sleep. But for the victim himself, his final moments would be a living hell. That is the true nature of this deadly career poisoning.
And you're suggesting that this bottle, Council, actually contains this terrifying poison?
This is all very convenient, isn't it? I hear thorough unknown poison for which there's no means of testing. What a happy tale for the defense! Ahem, if I may. All these facts! You think you're so clever, but...
It is you who must be taught.
Of course, my queen! Dear queen!
I swear that's just always funny to do with Ouchie.
So, this is how you Japanese behave, is it?
What? You steal another's honest hard work and then announce the results as if you discovered them. I'm appalled. What a loathsome act. Well, Miss Brett, the feeling is mutual.
Whatever do you mean?
Capitalizing on the unfortunate circumstances of an innocent man to frame him for a heinous crime. That really is a loathsome act. Wouldn't you agree?
Enough of this! I, for one, refuse to accept it! The idea of some poison that doesn't even exist in the Grand Parchment is breaking the rules!
What's so funny?
Oh, excuse me, Princess. Your Excellency.
Yes, Miss Brett?
May I borrow that bottle for a moment, please?
And then she just whacks Naruto over the head. Yeah, I swear, you do some lineage checking to Kristoff, you discover that Brett is related to him. Yes, she is my Yes, and then Kristoff. Ah, yes, Clavier. Here are some reports from our great-grandmother on father's side.
Oh, well, I don't see anything. Why not? I don't see anything. Why not?
I'm not afraid of death. Don't get too big for your boots, you insignificant little island boys.
But you're from an island. Sorry.
To an Englishwoman such as myself, this whole affair is a farcical comedy. Your little police games and those foolish courtroom antics, it's laughable, really. But I'm getting bored of it all now. It's time for the games to end. Cheers!
Wait! What are you doing?
No sparkle left at all. How appropriate for this shabby affair.
Yeah, but then the whole Gavin theory would actually not work during later events.
Goodness, whatever's the matter? You all look quite stunned.
So, no curare. The bottle was clean? Is that what you're saying?
You look quite incredulous, little boy, but of course, that's the simple truth. Thank you for presenting the findings of my research so concisely here in this grand venue. Most kind. Thank you, waiter. Now then, Your Excellency.
Yes, Miss Brett.
I should like to be excused now, please.
Sorry, I had to burp.
I think I've given more than enough of my time for furtherance of friendship between our countries.
Ah yes, dear lady. We are much gratified with all the assistance you have given.
This doesn't make sense. There had to have been poison in that bottle. So how? How did she?
Joke's on you, boy. My blood contains Curare. I am immune to all poisons.
How did she swallow a whole glass and live to tell the tale? I don't understand it.
Well, I suppose if nothing else, this little Far Eastern charade will make for interesting conversation at the next party I attend in London.
There has to have been some poison in that bottle, doesn't there? But there can't have been. There couldn't have been, because otherwise she would have killed or dead. Come on, Ryunosuke. We have all the clues now. That bottle of water contains no poison. As I thought, there is no poison in that bottle. What? Why? Ryunosuke! Is it obvious? If there was poison there, she'd be dead by now. Sometimes your adulterated naivete really astounds me. But sometimes it's all in a good staining. Until it's as dark as your uniform in the ways of the world. Oh, is that what this color is supposed to represent? Okay, yeah, they're going the Kristoff route.
That was a guileless ending to a promising live inquiry, Counsel, for which it will be penalized.
Ah! This whole trial is poisoned. There has to have been poison in that bottle, doesn't there? But there can have been. There could have been, yes. Well, what if the poison was in the cup? What if it was the glass that had the poison? The culprit did put Curare poison into Dr. Wilson's contaminated carbonated water, but not in the bottle, in the cup. The defense, refused to change this position. You're serious.
Fool! Are you blind? There is no possible way that bottle could contain poison. I mean, we just saw.
Misbred drinking the water from it?
That's right. Which rather complicates your argument, I think.
And I believe that complication can be explained.
How? Exactly!
I need to think through all the things that don't quite happen here, one by one. I'm sure the answer is in the evidence we have in the court record somewhere. It has to be.
Very well. If the defense truly intends to assert its claim, then I must ask you to support the assertion with evidence.
Okay. Okay, I'm just reading this. Okay. Aha! Yeah, basically, they're gonna say that it entered through the gun.
Yes!
The answer to this riddle is right here in Miss Brett's own research report.
That's not a valid explanation!
No?
After all, we don't speak English! That report's utter gibberish! This impudent young scoundrel is trying to ridicule the court, Your Excellency!
I'm not trying to ridicule anyone. Honest, I'm just reading Susato-san's notes.
I concur. This report is too extensive to be considered in its entirety by the court. You will direct us to the pertinent section, Counsel. Which section of the report reveals the alleged answer to this riddle?
Okay. Yeah, I just want to see the exact section. Sorry. Synopsis. Special characteristics. Okay, special characteristics. This sounds like Rising Tension or Dance of the Death from Kingdom Hearts 2. We've been hearing a lot about this Curare poisoning. And it's left me curious about something.
Oh, Counsel?
Well, it sounds as though indigenous hunters have been using this poison for years and years to lace the heads of their arrows that they shoot it at whatever prey they're hunting.
So we've been led to believe, yes.
And the point of hunting is to catch prey to eat.
Get to the point, please!
But if they were to use these laced arrows, doesn't that mean there would be traces of poison left in the prey the hunters were going to eat? Yes, good point. So surely the hunters wouldn't want to eat their prey, would they? Because then they'd be eating poison.
Good gracious, Council! No, that would be madness!
But I actually found the answer to that conundrum. In this research paper here, under special characteristics, it says this. The poison starts to work after entering the body through a wound.
Through a wound, you say? I see, that makes sense.
Yes, the mention of that particular detail seemed a little strange to me. But it all makes sense when you interpret what's written like this. When Courier enters the body through an open wound, it has terrifyingly poisoning effects. However, when it enters the body via the mouth, it has no poisonous effects whatsoever.
What?
Miss Brett, you authorized this research. You knew Courier's special characteristics. And you knew that you could make a spectacle of drinking that water without any danger to yourself.
You meddling little
The goose!
rapscallion!
With the goose! The freaking goose is coming out of your ass! Mother Goose is gonna kick your ass, Ria Nasuke! Well, Ria Nasuke, it turns out you're an even better lawyer than I thought you'd be. Really? Me? A lawyer?
Objection!
Oh, this poison dog is fascinating, I'm sure, but I don't see how it possibly... So, this ill-bred little puppy has a new toy to play with, some facts he read in a book. But I'm afraid knowledge doesn't suit you, little boy. It only makes you look silly.
What are you trying to say?
Your schoolboyish logic has a fatal flaw.
Schoolboyish? Flaw? Flaw?
As even your brain has managed to deduce, Courier is safe to ingest. It seems likely that its effects are neutralized by the acidic nature of the gastric succus.
Oh, yeah, well, of course. Gastric suckers, what are they?
So, if this lethal poison is completely harmless when drunk, the professor wouldn't have died when he swallowed it, would he?
Ah!
That's right!
Good gracious!
That's basic science, science that even a schoolboy should be able to understand.
Order in the court! The logic holds. If the lady and the prosecutor drank the same poison, they would be affected in the same way.
Are you trying to suggest?
Yes, this Courier poisoning is completely irrelevant to this case on trial! That's right. Surely even a little cockroach like you could understand something as simple as that. My goose shall strike your soul!
And it was at that moment he realized he was effed. What is this? Welling up inside me? I've never felt like this before. It's a sort of conviction to break down all the discrepancies. It's so intense, almost rage-like. And more than anything else, it's an animalistic desire to take down my prey.
Objection!
Who knew the finger point? Who knew the finger point was Phoenix being animalistic? I don't think so, Miss Jezaille Brent.
How dare you use that tone with me?
You know very well that there's no fatal flaw here. You know exactly why, even though both you and the victim swallowed the same poison. You are alive, but Dr. Wilson is dead. You are strong while he was weak.
Counsel, I'm sure I don't need to remind you. You must provide compelling evidence. As we now know that this poison is completely harmless when ingested, why would Dr. Wilson alone have been killed by the Courier?
Take that!
I'm so sorry, Counsel, but the slipshod manner in which you tossed that evidence to the court does not inspire confidence.
Huh? Listen, Ria Nasuke, there's no need to overthink this. We know that Courier's toxic effects only come into play when the poison enters the body. I was trying to present that the professor was killed with a bullet wound. That the bullet entered his body. Right, so that can only mean that when Dr. Wilson drank his glass of water, he must have had a wound somewhere that let the poison in. Exactly. So we need some evidence that would prove the professor had a wound. You have evidence! It's been stated! Why do we even need to prove it? Of course.
Counsel, I don't need to remind you. You must provide compelling evidence. As we now know, the poison is completely harmless with just a...
Okay, good. They aren't freaking dinging me on this. Yes.
Take that!
Yeah, I had to present the... What?
I'm sorry, Counsel.
Oh, come on! He had a freaking gun wound! Oh, they're gonna say it's the tooth that was pulled.
Take that!
Then why the gun? Why the gun? Just to frame Ryunosuke? I mean, really? They wouldn't prove the poison. They wouldn't even know what the poison is. I am confused. As Miss Brett so clearly pointed out, she drank the same water as the professor. However, there was a fundamental and fatal difference between the two diners. He went to the doctor. This is why Ryunosuke is never going to the doctor. The dentists kill you. They pull your tooth out. You die. You drink the carbonated water. This is how Phoenix was able to survive being Kristoff's friend for 7 years. Kristoff was unable to poison Phoenix because Phoenix kept on living. Phoenix didn't go to the doctor. Kristoff, damn it right. Why don't you go to the doctor? Hey, sorry, Kristoff, but my ancestor, Ryunosuke Naruto, he didn't go to the doctor, and so am I. I'm not going to that doctor either. That's how Phoenix, he dated both Dahlia, and he dated Dahlia. He was friends with Kristoff, two famed, infamous poisoners in the series, and just Phoenix unscathed, no poison. Phoenix survives on the advice of Ryunosuke of never going to the doctor.
A fatal difference.
Yeah, I'll finish this case up, and then I'll end the episode off, because I think we're almost done here, really. The toxic effects of Curare are only felt when the poison enters the body through an open wound. So for a healthy person with no injuries, drinking it is completely harmless. But what if there was a wound inside the mouth of the person drinking the poisoned water?
Inside?
Yes, like the wound you might have if you had just been to the dentist and had a tooth extracted, for example.
Ah!
Oh! Miss Brett, you've acknowledged many times in your testimony already that you were well aware of Dr. Wilson's dental appointment that day.
Ah!
So that's it. You used that knowledge to orchestrate this. Yeah, really, like I said, they're just gonna acknowledge one of these days. Like, Kristoff goes through his family history. Yes, it seems that she's some aunt of sorts. Is she laughing?
I don't like to repeat myself, but honestly I can't resist. These childish courtroom games and your half-baked arguments are also puerile.
What? What do you mean?
Don't worry, little schoolboy. You will find out soon enough. I have a bottle! You see, when you leave vital evidence lying around, you never know what might happen to it. It might be used to kill a man.
No!
Yes! I will do what Kristoff Gowing does a century later. I mean, it could just slip. Oh dear, how careless of me.
Why did she do that to begin with? Why did she just smash the bottle to begin with in the restaurant? That would have solved all her problems. She could have then said, "Oh no, I'm distraught by this death. I spilled the water. I broke the bottle." Really, what? Did she take lessons from the Korekyo Sanguji school of committing crimes? No, actually, considering the time period, Korekyo would have been learning from her.
I'm afraid some crucial evidence may just have been tragically destroyed.
And I love how Hosonaga is just doing nothing. No!
What just happened? It's the English woman. She just smashed that bottle.
And Hosonaga does everything.
And in the Supreme Court, what a terrible blunder. Officer, what are you waiting for? Collect up as much of the water from that broken bottle as possible at once.
You're wasting your time.
This delightful carpet under my feet here was a gift from the British Empire. It serves my needs. I assure you it will soak up the water beautifully.
Darn our desire for class and elegance!
You have neither the technology nor the presence of mind to recover it.
How could you? How could we put in the carpet? How could we have been so careless? You won't get away with this.
You can thump that bench and shout as much as you like, little boy. But I'm afraid we'll never know now, will we? If there really was any poison in the bottle or not.
You.
And let us not forget, we still have some very compelling evidence left intact. Is that right, counsel for the prosecution?
Of course, of course! You're referring to this photographic print, I presume, dear lady?
That's right, and really, look at this photograph. It's as clear as day, isn't it? The poor professor was sitting with his back to me. So of course the only person who could have shot him from the front is that little schoolboy.
Objection!
No, you killed the victim that day using career. And then, in order to frame Ryonosuke Naruto for the crime, you waited until he picked up the pistol you'd arranged for him to find on the floor before you shot the professor's dead body in the chest with your own hitting gun. Then, in the confusion that followed, all you had to do was turn the dead professor and his chair around. You see, you had every opportunity to commit this crime.
What a wonderful imagination you have, young man.
We're practically the same age, lady.
A hidden gun, you say? And I shot the professor's dead body, did I? Well, I'm terribly sorry, but you don't have a shred of evidence.
Exactly! And as you have nothing to support your wild claims, the prosecution's stance remains unchanged. The victim, Dr. John H. Wilson, was killed by a gunshot to the chest. Delivered in cold blood by the accused, Ryonosuke Naruto!
Ugh! This is unbelievable. How can this be happening? We had her, but now, is she really going to get away with it? The way she destroyed that evidence was obscene. Ryonosuke, yes? We've come this far, but now you're the only one who can finish it. What? What do you mean? We've lost a vital piece of evidence. It's true. So if there's any clues left for us to use now, they must be in your head. In my head? You told me before that your powers of observation were the one thing you could really depend upon. Well, yes, that's true, but I didn't manage to notice that this woman was a foreigner with a swan on her head. To think back again now, try to remember every last detail about the scene that day. Everything you saw, everything you felt, every color, every smell, how every color smelled. What I saw, what I felt. Every color. The blood on the plate. Is Kazuma right? Somewhere in this vibrant memory is of the same scene in my head. Could there be another clue to expose the identity of Dr. Wilson's killer? Yes, there is a clue. No, they're zooming in on nothing. Actually, Kazuma, I think I might have something. Thinking back over everything I saw, I think I might have uncovered another clue. Haha! You've always had something up your sleeve. You always have something up your sleeve, don't you, Ryonosuke? Come on, then. Let's wipe the smug smile off that Englishwoman's face with some evidence. Alright, I can't wait. Oh, sorry. Alright, I can't wait. It's been niggling me for a while that something feels amiss in the memories of my day. Whatever it is that could be the key to arriving at the truth about this, it's there somewhere. Gas! The clue that shows who Dr. Wilson's real killer must have been is this. The blood? It's the fork! Inspector Hosonaga, answer me this!
Yes, what is it?
Ugh, he's still miles away, probably thinking about that bottle being smashed. He's gonna bury it outside the courthouse. We're gonna have to
attend a service in its honor. And the gas I just passed, it smells like a rotten egg salad sandwich, It's clouding the air. As you said a number of times now, you strive for perfection in your investigations, don't you? Absolutely. I wonder, therefore, if perhaps you took anything else from the scene of the crime. Like, for instance, the plate of the steak that you took to the victim's table that day.
Objection!
Wait a minute! Where are you going with this?
Where are you going with this, little boy? It's just that a memory that's been troubling me.
What memory?
I saw the scene showing the photographic print with my own eyes that day. And I saw that on the wooden plate, on the wooden base of the plate that the steak was served on, with a splattering of blood.
What?
Oh, really? And what of it?
Obviously that must have happened when you shot the professor.
No, that can't be the case. Take a good look at the photograph and the relative position of everything there. The plate of steak is almost directly behind the victim. If I'm supposed to have shot Dr. Wilson in the chest from the front, there's no way that blood from the victim could have ended up directly behind him.
Ah!
Yes. For blood that made it onto the plate, it implies that the plate was between the victim and the shooter, which means that the shooter must have been sitting opposite the professor, as you were. Jezaille, Brett, I beg your pardon!
Objection!
This is beyond ridiculous, fabricated nonsense! Is the court seriously expected to believe something the accused has just apparently remembered seeing?
Hold it!
This could be the moment that my entire career in the police force has been leading up to. Blood on a wooden plate. Blood on wood. Inspector, you mean... Yes, I took the plate in the interest of preserving evidence from the scene of the crime. I took it, meat and all, and I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief because of it.
You did what?
I took the steak that you had been eating, Miss Brett. I took the steak that the sergeant had been eating. I took all of the steaks in the restaurant, and I did it all in the name of justice! And then a century later, Apollo.
Why do I have the feeling that some creep is thinking about me?
Yeah, this is the face of a guy who does stuff. And then I did the evidence behind the restaurant. Then we can find out for sure whether or not there's a blood stain on Miss Brett's plate. We must examine it now.
Inspector! The court wishes to examine the plate from the victim's table immediately. Yes, sir!
Sorry. Yes, sir. Why were you not using my voice, CzarThwomp? Sorry for the delay. Here's what you ordered. The steak. Well, what about the blood? Is there blood on it?
Of course there isn't!
Quickly, Inspector! The blood man! Show the court!
Of course. Examine the plate at your leisure. I'm not doing it. You're not paying me to do this. No! No blood? Yes, because it's not like she could have wiped away the blood. You don't have luminol! No blood anywhere. But no! That's impossible! I know I saw it. I'm sure of it. It was right there on the table behind the professor. There was blood on the side of the plate.
What an unbecoming expression, little boy. You see, this is why I always say you can't trust what the Japanese tell you.
Ugh!
I couldn't agree more! In the case of this disgrace to the Empire!
I believe we may have finally reached a conclusion in this trial.
Let's hope so.
This let's pretend attempt at courtroom proceedings is painful to watch. But I do promise to do my best to forget all about it when it's over.
Ha! This sorry-looking steak reveals the facts all too clearly! If the sorry-looking accused wishes to examine it again, be my guest!
The plate has been entered. Was the plate I saw or thought I saw just a figment of my imagination? This is now. I've lost. Let's see what he has to say about steak. Huh? What the? What in the world is this? It's the coin. I think it's a Koban coin, and it's the hallmark from the Jezaille, I believe. Yeah, it's the coin that was stolen. No, I don't mean what it is. I mean, what is it doing here? She took my coin! And then Jezaille, she gets out of the courtroom. Ryunosuke's in jail, and then she gets assaulted by the antiques merchant. You stole my coin, and now I steal your life! Wait, did you say it was Hoei Kaban? Yes, and apart from the meat. Yes, and apart from the meat juices, it looks to be in good condition. I imagine it's very valuable. This isn't the first time today there has been talk about Hoei Kaban. I've heard of pearls before swine, but I've never heard of bullion and bullion. I don't think we ever will again. This is extraordinary, though. This means... Ryunosuke, it's not over yet. Not until the final gavel. Never stop believing in yourself. Keep looking forward, no matter what. Believe in myself, really? Maybe I should at least examine the evidence for myself.
As the evidence requested by the defense has not been shown problematic in any way, I presume any further examination of evidence in this trial will be unnecessary. Does the defense have any objections?
Okay, considering how long this has been going on, I think now would be a good time to end things off. I really appreciate that you stuck around to watch this episode. You're a great viewer, and I hope you come back for the next one. If you like this video, like, subscribe, comment, share, do whatever you want. With that, I'll see you next time. Bye.